Someone in your life is secretly lamenting your passing. They simply lack the bravery to express it verbally. They will not tell you. No late-night confession, no apology, no note expressing how much they miss you. They appear to have moved on from the outside. As if everything is all right. Like nothing truly changed when you were gone. That is not the whole tale, though. Because some people do not express regret in the manner you would expect. They do not return with words. Silently, they carry it. During the times when things slow down. They are unable to stop thinking. In the silent awareness that something they once possessed is no longer there. And the odd part. They did not immediately sense it. It was simple at first. It is simple to leave. It is simple to overlook what you intended. It is easy to think they will find something better. Or something like. However, time has a way of bringing to light things that people used to overlook. And something feels different now. Not loud enough to be heard by everyone. But powerful enough that they are no longer able to ignore it. Because losing you was more than just taking you out of their lives. They are unsure of how to fill the void it left. And that is the true question. If they truly regret it, why do not they say anything? 1. When they appeared indifferent. Losing them was not the most difficult thing. It seemed as though they were completely unaffected by your passing. At the start. It did not appear to be regret. Not even near. They left as if it had never happened. Like everything you said. Was simple to abandon. As if their world was not significantly altered by your departure. And that was the most painful thing. Not only the conclusion. However, they appeared normal afterward. They continued to chuckle. Still alive. Continuing as if nothing had happened. And you. You were left attempting to comprehend it. Attempting to understand how something that was very important to you. It was so simple for them to let go. You mentally repeated certain situations. I wondered what went wrong. Wondered if you were ever sufficient. Due to the ease with which someone departs. It gives you the impression that you were easily defeated. And slowly. You begin to change as a result of that feeling. You start to grow quieter. Take more caution. You are not as open as you once were. Not because you are emotionless. However, you do not want to experience that emotion once more. However, this is the reality that you were blind to at the time. Simply because someone appears to be alright. Does not imply that they are. Some folks do not sense things right away. Some people are unaware of what they have lost. Until they are forced to dwell with it by time. Until the interruptions stop. Until the clamor subsides. Until nothing remains to conceal oneself. And that is when it starts. Not for you. However, for them. Also. When it begins to overtake them. Sometimes regret does not come out loud. It can grow silently at times. They initially believed they were alright. It was the proper choice, they convinced themselves. It was simpler to walk away. That all of the events had already occurred. And it felt true for a while. They continued to be preoccupied. They kept themselves occupied. People and talks occupied their time. Anything that prevented their thoughts from slowing down. Because you do not have to sense what is lacking while life is noisy. But after a while, things calm down. Distractions do not function the same way. The discussions do not seem as significant. The moments no longer have the same impact as they once did. And that is when it begins. Not all at once. Just little things. They consider you at random. They recall something you said. Suddenly. They practically extend their hands. However, they stop themselves. And they do not know why. Since this was not intended to occur. They believed they had moved on. However, something feels different now. It feels like something is lacking. Additionally, the more they attempt to ignore it, the more it manifests. At peaceful times. Late at night. In areas where nothing remains to divert them. And gradually, they begin to notice the change. How things were with you. And the current state of affairs. At that point, the truth starts to come to light. Because people are now remembering more than just you. Your absence is being felt by them. And that sensation is difficult to get rid of. 3. When they experience what they have lost at last. They are not broken by the recollections. It is the sense of the significance of such recollections. They can no longer ignore it at this point. It is more than a fleeting thought. Not merely an arbitrary recollection. It is a persistent emotion. They bear a silent burden. Even if they make an effort to ignore it. Because people are now remembering more than just you. They can sense the difference. In less in-depth interactions, they pick it up. In laughter that lacks authenticity. In situations that ought to feel whole but do not for some reason. And that is when the pain begins. Not loudly, but in a lingering manner. Because they now comprehend something that they were previously unaware of. They had a different relationship with you. How you paid attention. The way you were concerned. How you remained. Even in difficult situations. These were not little things. However, they were treated as such back then. And now they sense its absence. They make an effort to advance. They do, in fact. However, something no longer feels the same. They are missing more than just you now. They miss the way things were with you. And it is difficult to replace that. The thoughts get more intense at that point. I failed to notice it. They were beyond my comprehension. I really lost something. And those thoughts stay with you. Because it is more than simply your absence this time. It is about them understanding the true significance of your presence. And there is a quiet kind of sadness associated with that awareness. The kind they do not discuss. The sort they carry without ever uttering a word. Because losing someone is not the toughest regret when it becomes something they cannot get rid of. It is being aware that you had them yet mistreated them. It is more than just a feeling by this point. It is regret. The kind that takes time to fade. They no longer just miss you. They comprehend you. Whatever you attempted to demonstrate to them. Everything you attempted to clarify. Everything they used to disregard or not take seriously. Now everything becomes sense. But it is too late to realize that. They begin to turn around. Not during the major events, but in the little ones. The moments you showed them patience. The way you remained when things were not ideal. The way you put forth effort without expecting much in return. And those times feel heavy now. Since they acknowledge that it was true. Additionally, they did not place the proper value on it. The regret sets in at that point. Silently. In unexpected moments. They do not share the same thoughts. In emotions they are unable to articulate to others. Because there are regrets that do not require words. They simply remain. They make an effort to move on. They make an effort to persuade themselves that everything is all right. But there is always a feeling that something is lacking. Since they are now aware of what they lost. Additionally, they are unable to go back and rectify it. It hurts because of that. Not simply losing you. But being aware that they had something genuine. And allow it to disappear. And now, even if they do not say it aloud. Even if they never return and acknowledge it. They have a truth within them. They never showed how much losing you affected them. And they carry that emotion with them. In actuality, some people do not express regret for abandoning you. They have to deal with it. Ultimately, it was never about whether or not they would return and say it. It was about how they would feel when everything fell. The most difficult aspect is that they do not always say it. They do not always return. They do not always publicly acknowledge it. However, this does not imply that they are unaware of it. Because words are not always necessary to express regret. It lives in silence at times. In the recollections they return. They wish they had handled those situations differently. In the silent realization that they had lost a true caregiver. You have already experienced it, but they are only now starting to feel it. You have already experienced the loss. The uncertainty. The evenings when nothing made sense. And for some reason, you continued. You gained the ability to let go. How to put yourself back together. How to find calm without having them to come back and explain anything. You are strong because of that. Because when they left, your tale did not finish. It was altered. And in ways they might never fully comprehend, it strengthened you. So keep this in mind if you are viewing this and it seems personal to you. You can establish your value without their regret. You can ask yourself what you meant without waiting for their silence. Since what you provided was genuine. Furthermore, the mere fact that someone did not observe something does not make it less valuable. Please take a time to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder right now if it moved you. Tell me in the comments whether you believe they will ever really understand what they have lost. Or simply come to terms with it. Because often the regret that goes unspoken is the loudest.